everybody. This is Tessa.
And this is Tricia.
Yay! We're back for another episode of Strong Female Lead. Nice. So, wow. Today we brought you...
Guys.
Wow. This is a gift from us to you.
Seriously. We are talking about the strong female leads of Suspiria.
Yes.
Do you like nightmares? Do you enjoy having nightmares?
You're about to have a bunch. You're about to have a bunch of nightmares.
So, Tessa...
If you can figure it out. If you can be conscious and aware enough to be afraid, you'll be terrified.
Before we dive into the ladies of Suspiria, tell me, overall, what was your feeling while watching? What emotion was bubbling up inside
Let me consult my feelings wheel.
Oh, yeah. You do have a feelings wheel right here in front of me.
Just handy.
Yeah.
Coming to you from Podcast Studio A, where the feelings are...
What were you feeling watching, and what are you feeling now about to talk about it?
Okay, so before I was very energetic. I was excited. I was like, this is going to be so creepy. I was thinking it was going to be in the vein of that movie Witch, where it's just like dark and creepy. I'd heard that there were witches, so I was like, oh, I like a thriller, a little scary. That's just watching it. While watching the film, I grew to become more and more insecure. I felt both inadequate and inferior, and then I just ended it let down and resentful.
So there's no fear.
I don't think I understood enough to be afraid.
Okay, so you felt insecure because you didn't understand.
Yeah. And I feel like what I was overall getting from the vibe of this movie was that the director feels as though he is better than me.
Just like those bitches on NPR,
like those bitches on NPR.
Tessa believes, we spoke about this offline, and it just happened a couple minutes ago, and I'm going to share. Tessa believes that every personality on NPR, every host, is actively speaking directly to her in a condescending tone.
Are they not? How do other people not feel this way? They are talking in such a condescending manner as if I don't understand geopolitical politics. I'm very aware. I'm very well read.
I don't understand geopolitical politics, and I don't feel they're talking down to me.
I think it's the slowness, that they're slowing it down. No one speaks at that rate, because that to me is condescending as fuck. That was me doing it. That was just me doing it.
Hilary? Okay, so those were your feelings. I liked that tone. That was just like
emotionless.
No, that's what they're trying to do. It felt like you
just
were massaging my brain.
There's no bias.
I felt like you just gave my brain a massage, and I liked it. So
you don't like my natural voice? Is it shrill?
I'm just saying that kind of tone makes me feel good. Okay, so I felt, before watching, I felt curious and excited and free.
Free from worries that you're not understanding.
And during the movie, I felt fearful, horrified, repelled, and
bitter.
No, because I liked it. So I felt horrified. I felt fearful. I also like a little. I don't know. I guess that's it. I was going to say aroused. Just if this movie arouses you, you guys need to...
You're not weird, because it pretty much, sound-wise, sounded like a porno for most of it. I did close my windows because they were all open, and it was just a lot of heavy breathing, and I was like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah. I felt fragile. That's the last one.
Wait, in body or in your mind?
Both.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Well, I was fragile when I watched it. I watched it on the plane to California on a 6:30 a.m. flight after 2 hours of sleep, hungover. This was a disaster of my own making. I mean, I created that situation. So I did. I felt fragile. I felt exposed because I didn't think the person next to me was watching it, but I wasn't positive that they couldn't see it on my phone. But it was scary.
It was, I'm going to solidly put this in creepy.
Yeah.
I feel like, unfortunately, like, in Chicago right now, yesterday at least, it was, like, very bright and sunny and cheery and very peppy. There's a lot of pep in my step. So, again, it was very hard for me to get into the mindset that bad things are happening in the world.
Yeah.
So, like, if I watch this movie again, very much recommend, like, an October viewing.
Yeah.
So you're also in, like, that fall kind of, like, sweater weather type vibe. And
this movie took place in German autumn.
Yeah.
Which
was the saddest of autumns.
Just a sad autumn with violence.
Yeah.
With the RAF group and just people being violent and taking hostages.
Yeah. I didn't know that ballet was a thing, that Germans really enjoyed it. I thought that was more of a Russian thing.
I think it's modern dance. I think that was modern dance that you were watching. What? They didn't have ballet shoes on.
She did repeatedly take her ballet shoes off.
Yeah.
Which was annoying. Why are you always wearing them?
I think the shoes are to kind of potentially keep your feet warm. I think that's
the tether.
This was not ballet. Were you watching ballet?
That's where my confusion lies. I was like, why are they not doing ballet correctly?
Oh! No. It's because no way is this ballet.
I recognized that it was modern dance, but I was like, why are they, like, why is she wearing, like, what I thought were ballet shoes and then never doing it?
I think they were just shoes, and I think that you can practice with them, but, like, when you're actually performing, I don't think you use them. So, like, you know how you keep your muscles warm, or you keep I think it's just keeping your tootsies. Keeping your tootsies a little warm. You know how, like, she would have sweats until she, like, and you just...
And I was like, everything about this movie was just slightly creepy. I just felt very, like...
Slightly?
I felt like I was, like, the pervert watching someone else, and I'm like, why? Why?
So, okay.
I get it, but also... You know.
So, quick synopsis before we dive into the characters. There's a dance academy. It's in Germany. It's in Berlin. The purpose of this dance academy, which is run by a coven of witches, is to find a vessel for Marcos, Miss Marcos, Mother Marcos, who lives in the basement of the academy and is dying.
Yeah, she lives behind the mirrored wall.
And they want to find a vessel for her so that she can continue to live. And one of the vessel will be one of the dancers. So then she could be young and live in their body. And then also this coven is set up to serve the three mothers, which are godlike beings that existed before time itself.
Oh, God.
Time on time.
Time is a flat circle.
Mother Tenebrarum, Mother Lacrimarum, something, and then Mother Suspiriorum. Mm-hmm. So, and Suspiria, I believe, is an area of Germany.
Yeah, I thought it was a town.
Or a town. So Germany is Mother Suspiriorum's place. So this dance company, it's ritualized dance. So these girls think that they're learning dance and they're having, everything paid for. And this is they're living their dreams and they're kind of just... they get room and board and they get to dance with this company and put on performances. But the women who are running it and teaching them the dance are actually using them as part of a ritual. Yeah. And that's basically it. And then it just like careens into different things where you're just like not really sure what's going on. But that's it.
Yeah. That was a great summary.
I did.
And now we're going to fly off the rails. Because I didn't get it. Well, I mean, I understood the plot as you've summarized for us just now. But in the viewing...
that wasn't... I had to read that after, guys. So, like, while I was watching, I got a feeling that, the dance was more than the dance. And people, you can see that the women are like when certain women come in the room and they're spirits. But, like, I had to actually go back and be like, okay, so what happened?
I was just always confused on, like, what people know and what they don't know.
Yes.
Because, like, just like in one of the beginning scenes when Susie, the Dakota's character, comes to the dance school, and they're like, oh, does anyone want to dance this part? And everyone's just like crickets. So it's like, so they know something, but then all of them are acting brand new all the time. What do you know and what do you not know? Or is this like a mashup of time thing again?
I think they know that certain people have gone missing. So one character, Patricia, she has gone missing. And she was the one who was dancing the protagonist role, the lead. So they know, some of them are picking up on the fact that these women are witches and that they're doing something to them. But I think that they get hypnotized at different parts of the time that they're there. Like at the very end, that whole like bloodbath thing, they all went to sleep and forgot about it because it was erased from their memory. And they woke up and the girls didn't know that they had just participated in that ritual. So I think that maybe somewhere deep in them, like on a molecular level, they know something's going on and there's fear, but like thinking wise, not all of them get it. So, and that's just my guess, because some of them do say, you guys are fucking witches. And then others are like, I don't know where I'm at and I'm just dancing, you know? So like, I do think that it's different among girls. Yeah. But I think that they're all essentially prisoners of that dance company, and it's very hard to escape because they can get spells put on them. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's wild. Yeah. I think another reason I was kind of struggling through this movie was because I was trying to assign... That doesn't make sense to someone like you. Because you're like, this universe needs to make sense, and that universe doesn't make sense. It doesn't, and me trying to assign so much meaning to what is happening in order for it to make sense to me, because on the surface, it kind of just feels like there's 3 old broads who want to live forever on like some superhero shit, and in order to make that happen, they need to absorb the life forces of 3 younger people. Is that what happened? Well, we don't... the plot of Hocus Pocus. So, yes and no, because as we learn, Mother Suspiriorum is the only mother that actually is one of the 3 that is there. And that ends up being Dakota Johnson.
I would not say as we learned, as in everyone knew that, because I never learned that, but carry on. Yeah.
The other mothers aren't there. Right. Because they're serving these mothers, right? And then Dakota Johnson comes in, and it is a question as to whether or not she's known this whole time that she's Mother Suspiriorum, but she is the only one actually there. Mother Marcos was acting like she was Mother Suspiriorum. And they called her Mother Marcos, but really she was Miss Marcos. But they because then there's a point where Madame Blanc, who's played by Tilda Swinton, one of 3 characters she plays, she also plays Mother Marcos, but they're calling her Mother Marcos, and Madame Blanc's like, I thought we said we weren't going to call her Mother. So like, this is because I started watching it a second time, but then I stopped because I was coming here. Interesting. So I'm not really sure. I mean, what I would love to dive into is really like Susie's character and what you think her evolution was as an SFL. Like, did she know what was going on? Did she know, she knew. Did she seek this out because she had some power within her, or did she become aware when she got there and then just went into it? No, I think she knew the entire time. I don't think she knew, that she was Mother Superior. Suspiriorum. I'm just going to say it in English. Mother Superior, which is I love it as Catholic terms. I know. At least when her story begins, I think she knows that something, when we meet her at the beginning of the movie, she knows there's something different about her, and there's more than a casual tie between her and this dance company. And she does not want to be no Mennonite from Ohio. It's God. Shout out to those Mennonites. I don't know what Mennonites do.
They were the more liberal ones, and the Amish
They're the wild Amish.
The Amish were
they always on that Rumspringa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you seen Devil's Playground?
No.
Oh my God, this great documentary about them going on Rumspringa.
Oh, wait, I think I've seen it. Is it like a TLC thing?
That sounds good. I think I'd like that.
It is so much fun because a lot of them are still in their Amish, clothes and, pounding back natty lights. A lot of them get into meth. It gets fun.
It's different than Breaking Amish, which was another one. Where like a bunch of Amish people went to LA.
Maybe I saw that.
It was like probably not the best place to start.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like they eat you alive out there. I would get eaten alive in LA. I know. But you're way too Midwest for us.
Yeah. But you were saying that she felt a compulsion, a connection.
Because she says that she saw them like 6 times and then she went to New York to see them again. And I'm like, I don't know that I'd pay to see the same show 6 times. And then she's like obsessed with them at the library and she knows all the dances. And I'm like...
And she's obsessed with Madame Blanc, who's the head teacher.
Yeah.
And there was a time where they were homeschooled and they were looking at a map and they were supposed to be looking at the U.S. and she kept circling Berlin. And she was just a child. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, at that... A Mennonite girl in Ohio just being like, that's where I have to go. Like, it just wouldn't happen.
That's just so random. It's just, again, like, I don't like random. I want things to be plotted where they go. And, like, the thought of just, like, a random girl in a random place. Well, I guess there was a British girl there. Never mind.
I thought she knew.
The British girl?
No. I think I agree with you. I think she knew on some level that there was something for her there. And I don't know if she knew she was going to, like, be the mother of all mothers and fucking explode people at the very end. But I did know that she was into some wild shit or okay with some wild shit because pretty soon after she's there, she starts seeing, like, them fucking with the cops and they're obviously like in a the witches have taken the cops, put them in a spell because they're going and searching for Patricia who's missing, and they have like a fucking meat hook or something and they're like making fun of the guy's dick and he's like naked from the waist down. She just looks over, giggles to herself, and then goes back to what she's doing and does not tell the other girl. And I was like, hold up, like you either have done some shit or you're okay with some shit.
Oh.
But that would certainly make me horrified.
Yeah.
I was like, what is up with this bitch?
Yeah, and I'm like, I think that they're like, I think it's another movie that the dialogue is actually being used against you because I'm so focused on like trying to figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
That I'm not paying as much attention to like what she's actually doing. And I'm like, because that was like, okay, I think I just like skimmed that scene. I remember it, but I'm like, I was...
Because the place is weird anyways, but it's sort of like, girl, like, I mean...
Yeah.
Like, the men are not, they're standing, their eyes are open, they're not moving, and the one guy's half naked, and everyone's laughing around him and poking his dick, like, is that going to register in any way to you? So then I thought maybe she knew all along that she really was a witch. Because, like, that was wild for anyone to be okay with.
Yeah, and I'm like, I thought, like, the theme that I was, like, going with is that, like, absolute power corrupts absolutely is, like, what this piece is trying to tell us. And that even, people think that if women, or people have said, that if women were in power, they would do the exact same things that men do when they're in power, as in, like, torture women and make their lives difficult and, unnecessarily and, restrict their freedoms, and that women would do the same thing if given the same opportunity.
Interesting.
But then my mind just went blank, like it just did. And I'm like, I don't think that any of that fits.
I mean,
what happened in that movie.
I did read about an abuse of power theme. And, like, Mother Suspiriorum at the end, like, Dakota Johnson goes into that, into the ritual, and she's all, like, breathy. And then she comes in, and she's like, I am Mother Suspiriorum. And I think she starts exploding the heads of all the dance teachers who had been worshiping Mother Marcos. Because she has a connection with Miss Blanc. And then I think what she was supposed to do, what I read was she was the mother. This woman was acting as if she was one. So anyone who was backing her up, she was like cleaning the slate. And she got rid of them and then allowed the girls who had been under a spell and basically like captive there as part of the dance, allowed some of them to die because they were disemboweled or just scared and just like so she was actually like the kind one coming in, although it was like total destruction.
And all I can think of like is like, this is totalitarianism 101. This is exactly how like Saddam Hussein got Iraq. Like, this is exactly how he did it. And I was like, I don't understand this movie. Again, I was like, okay, it's about absolute power corrupting, absolutely. But you're not saying it's a bad... There's no value statement in this movie, which I thought was a little weird and disturbing.
Well, she stopped the suffering of the dancers.
But like, nowhere does it say that like, this is a good action or a bad action. It's just giving us action, which I'm just like, what? I think that for me was a little jarring. I was like, but you're not making a statement as to like whether her actions...
Because you go into the movie thinking she figures out what's going on. She's going to stop it. She's going to save everyone. You know, and then she's
like, but I'm the queen of this bitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we don't see... Yeah. So, she signed me up, but we don't see, does she affect any good after she kind of like cleans out the bad, so to speak. It's very biblical also. You know what I mean? Like with, you know... Noah's Ark, all those true stories. Anyways, recovering Catholic. Yeah, so just, I don't know. I don't know if she does any good with it. I mean, she could just be thirsty with power.
Yeah. I think from the perspective of the director, I'm also not getting a value statement placed on anyone's actions anywhere throughout the movie, which is weird. Or, I'm not weird is strong. It's odd. It's different. But I do like the carnal nature of everything that he was being shown, that like humans are just another animal in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand the backdrop of this being like post-war Berlin and so many references to like, and maybe that's just because I don't hear a lot of narratives about post-World War II Berlin. But I thought it was an interesting tie that I thought kind of went nowhere.
Well, it was supposed to take place in 1977, so it was like after the war, but it was actually like, it was during the Cold War, and then after, I guess, a period which has a really long German name that I'm not even going to try to say.
Rumspringa?
Yeah, Rumspringa. After their own party period of Rumspringa, the Germans were reflecting on the Holocaust and their involvement and just like, and it was post-Nazism life. And then they go into this German autumn where then there's some upheaval and stuff. And so everything I read said they didn't connect well, so you're not alone. I think it was just to show like darkness and like guilt.
Yeah.
Kind of like just sort of like
I feel like it should have been winter instead of fall. If they wanted to tie in the after the war, because because if snow is falling on like a war-torn city, then for me that's imagery of like a rest before we clear it out. Like you can still see the outline of what is destruction, but like a snow falling on like a destroyed city or like that to me is like,
I think they got focused on the
autumn
part of it.
I think he was too busy trying to find beige clothing for everyone to really focus on it was anything else, because I've never seen so many different various shades of beige and taupe in my goddamn life.
Well, funny you said that is because I didn't watch the first movie, but I'm definitely going to. The first movie, it was very vibrant. And the colors were kind of all over the map, and this one on purpose.
Yeah.
It was like that. So he obviously just wanted us to feel like they were down. I mean, like,
I also felt bad for Germany because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a happy movie about Germany ever.
No.
Can you name one?
No. Life is Beautiful.
Wow. No. Like, from our perspective, I don't think I could name a happy German movie.
No, I mean, certainly not.
Yeah, even the language, the harshness of the language, like, being used as again another like tool of storytelling. I'm like, oh my god.
The Sound of Music was in Austria. It's like,
but then the Germans show up and it gets fucked up.
So what do you think about Dakota Johnson? So I'm doing this thing with my hand. Dakota Johnson's arc. What do you think of the arc of Susie?
I mean,
in terms of our SFL definition.
Yeah. Am I going to call her an SFL? Yes. But begrudgingly.
You fucking better.
This character, she deserves it. She has all the things. She has her own agency. She's top billed. Hilary, what's the third one?
Impacts
moves the plot along.
She is the plot, yeah.
She is the plot.
She is the plot. And she does it by herself. Like, whether or not any other character besides Tilda Swinton, I tried to think of her name, I couldn't. Mm-hmm. Tilda Swinton. Aside from her, no one else is moving the plot along. Because we would still be in the room with Chloe, just watching her go insane.
Yeah.
Which is the only part of the movie that, in retrospect, that I didn't like. Is that, like, we don't know if she's crazy or not.
She's not.
She's not. But I don't like the portrayal of, like... I just didn't like that portrayal of, like, somebody with a mental health issue.
But she didn't necessarily have a mental health issue.
But we think she does when we start this.
Totally.
And I was like, we could have just had her be running from witches. I didn't understand why this character... That character had to be, like, a therapist or, like...
Oh, I guess I thought it was because we weren't supposed to know yet. They were definitely witches.
Yeah, but why therapist? He could have been a witch doctor. He could have worked in a bookshop. He could have done anything.
Well, because if I were her and I wanted to talk to... I see a therapist. If I wanted to talk to someone and I was scared about something, I would probably go to a therapist.
But you would go to any trusted person.
Yeah, maybe he was just a well-known doctor.
I'm just being critical of the choice to portray mental illness and, like...
Got it.
In an unflattering light. In something that I thought was an unflattering light. Get your mental health on, kids.
But I mean, well, absolutely. But I mean, this is also like an homage to the 1977 film. So it's not a total remake, but like they're not up on.
Yeah, I totally understand in the context in which this was made, why this choice was made. But I'm like, if I could rewrite this movie, that would be a change that I would make.
Yeah, guys, approach a friendly looking police officer or.
Yeah, hand him a Pepsi. See if you can stop a protest.
Tell a teacher. Tell a teacher your fears about witches.
Yeah. Or a very friendly Postmates. Mm-hmm. Talk to them.
Uber driver. Mm-hmm. You could tell anyone.
Yeah, the bagger in a grocery line. Very chatty, typically.
Okay, so I agree. I think she was a total fucking SFL.
Yeah, but then again, was there a female character in here who doesn't? Well, I mean, I think most of the female characters in here at least get 2 out of 3. With Tilda Swinton being, like, another SFL. Even if she's playing a male character. Which is, like, the asterisk of all asterisks. I'm like, does a female actor get a... What?
Yeah, she's, like...
I don't think he moved the plot along.
Well, 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Okay.
So you think the other females... So I don't think they had their own agency.
But I'm like, I always feel like, like in movies like this, like, the girls are always offered a choice. I don't like to remove people from their ability to choose.
I don't think they had it. I think once they were
That's why it's like struggling with how aware they are of what's happening.
I think there can be no awareness, but also an inability to change it because of the power that's...
But I think that they bought in at some point. It's probably just off screen.
Yeah, I don't... So absolutely Dakota Johnson for sure.
Yeah.
Just as her character, but also from the very beginning, I noticed the way that she spoke to Madame Blanc. Like when she takes over the protagonist role and does that crazy thing where she's dancing and then also like basically killing or getting the girl who's in the secret room. She basically is like danced to death. Halfway to death almost, which had a very Us feel, but like, a little bit different. When she kind of falls to the floor and then Madame Blanc / Tilda Swinton goes over and is like, it's okay. A lot of people get dizzy or pass out when doing this. And she's like, I'm not. I thought I was going to throw up. She's like, it's okay that you fell or something. And she says, I didn't. I just didn't want to throw up on your floor. And she's never, you know, she's never aggressive. She speaks in this really low, like soft tone, or kind of high soft tone, but she doesn't waver on like what she thinks happened in any given situation. And it's in these very small moments, but it's usually conversations with Madame Blanc, who everyone's intimidated by. And you think she would be too, because she worships her for some reason, but she just doesn't, she's like, no, but then she lets it go. But she's just not swayed. And that's when I was kind of like, this is very interesting. Like, I can't get a read on this girl because I didn't know what was going on yet.
Yeah, especially given like what we know about this character, or what we can see about this character is that she's, you know, Midwestern. She's very soft-spoken. But when she interacts with Tilda Swinton's character, all of that seems to fall away. And I'm like, what is this? I was very confusing because I found her voice very annoying.
And her attitude when she's like an assertive attitude.
Except for, when she becomes this like slightly different, like assertive person. And I'm like, can we just always be her? And then I was like, nope, it's back to this airy voice.
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand and did not like, but
I think it was a weird.
It was weird to hold those two things as true about one character. So, yeah.
And I think they could be, because I think that with certain people, she was kind of. Yeah,
I guess it's perception versus reality. Like, I can perceive somebody with those traits to be like meek, and you know, just the description, like, I'm from a small town in Ohio.
And even when she was speaking that airy voice, or being, you know, like not the same way she was with Madame Blanc, she was never pushed around by anyone.
No.
You know, it was kind of like she always just sort of stayed true to whatever she wanted to do or planned on doing. But that conversation with Madame Blanc, where she first, like, when they know they really want her to dance the protagonist for the actual performance, which is a ritual, where then eventually Mother Marcos is going to get the body of her. So basically they're going to sacrifice her. But Madame Blanc and her are talking, and she's asking her a lot about, you know, being Mennonite and Amish. And she's like, oh, it seems like you don't really want to talk about this. And she said, I don't understand why we're talking about it. And just to have that kind of, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that statement. It's a boundary.
Yeah.
Or it's frankly just a thought.
Yeah.
Yet it just seems like it's just something one of the other girls would have never, ever said.
Yeah. And it's also, like, in my opinion, a female character acting like a male character, which is, I think, like, a very interesting thing that this director and writers all have put together, is that it is a completely female cast, but they're acting like male characters, and it is, like, strangely jarring. I'm like, what?
And then it's kind of like, God, well, does a strong female have to act male in order to be a strong female, you know? And that is kind of a belief that seems to permeate all society, is masculine qualities are seen as strong, feminine qualities are seen as weak.
Yeah, and malleable. Like, you will mold yourself. And I think that that's what she's not doing, and why it's so weird. Like, there's an authority figure, and you're not, like, you know, adhering and molding yourself to that
But femininity
authority
itself, I don't think should be seen as weak, or feminine qualities, like a higher voice or a softer way. Like, somewhere along the line that got people believe that means something. And I just wish that at some point we can just, it just doesn't mean more masculine is not stronger. More feminine is not weaker.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
it's very appropriate to the time that we're in right now, when we're redefining masculine and feminine.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I love that they were strong. I love that they were badass, but the same reasons I loved those masculine qualities, I was kind of like, but why does it have to be masculine? But that's kind of why I liked that contrast of her, the way that she still was those typical female ways, and the way she carried herself.
I think it's a great choice in casting. Cool. Somebody who looks like her, who is just like the Western image of femininity. Yeah. Tall, thin, soft-spoken, all of those things. And then to have her act in a masculine way, I was like, but still be, like, graceful, and when she's dancing, and, like, she has those, she's very, I was like, I did see that in the Prime, I watched this on Amazon Prime, and they show you, like, those random facts. Yeah, that she trained for 2 years, and I was like,
actually her dancing. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That looked professional to me.
Makes me think I could do it, but
I know, I'm sort of like, wait a second.
2 years. I got 2 years.
I mean,
time's a flat circle, so. Done.
Duh.
Strong female dancer, coming to you.
SFD. Okay, so what do we think about... Well, Tilda Swinton, SFL. I mean, it's obvious, but let's just...
She's just such a phenomenal actress.
Let's just
I don't think there's anything she can't do. I thought she was so creepy.
She's a gem.
In a good way. I think she just, like, I don't know what she does in terms of, like, character studies, but I'm like, how do you do this? She and, like, Joaquin Phoenix, to me, are, like, the most perfect actors. I'm like, I don't know what their processes are, but they need to start writing books and start teaching courses.
I think Christian Bale is also very good.
Yeah, he goes to extreme places for his roles. Which is commendable. Yeah.
I commend the people who are willing to almost die for a role. I'm like, is it smart? No. Would I do it? No. But I like seeing you on screen in 125 pounds for Machinist and think, how the fuck is that happening? He weighed less.
I wish I loved something as much as Christian Bale loves acting. I don't love anything enough to starve myself down.
He weighed less than most people. Like, I mean, just...
adult men, definitely.
But even women, most people, that's a very, very light weight.
Yeah.
And he's, what, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4"?
I have no idea. I assume everyone in Hollywood is very short, so 5'9".
But I think he's tall. Did you ever see that video of Christian Bale yelling at the lighting guy in one of the movies he's done?
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
You gotta watch it.
Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, a lighting guy walks through Christian Bale's scene and he just loses his fucking
so
mind.
Hungry. I get
screams.
that.
He screams at this guy, like, just berates him in front of everyone, like, you're probably a nice fucking guy, but I can't believe, like, just totally ape shit. And it seems so entitled and shitty, but, like, it is the funniest thing, because he loses his fucking mind, because he's probably so into that shit. Who knows the last time he's eaten?
Exactly. I think
get the guy a sandwich.
Yeah, get him a burger.
Unless it's like the craft services guy. He was not happy about it.
If it was a lighting guy standing between me and a meal.
No, it was while he's filming. Like, obviously it's an asshole move.
Yeah, but now you gotta reset. You gotta put everyone's back to zero.
Okay, but if you guys, if you listen to this or watch this though, like, it's unnecessarily.
Is he being
angry.
mean? It seems like he's kind of being polite. I can forgive it if he's being nice. Like, God,
no, I'm sure
you're probably really good at your job. Thank you so much.
You're awesome. I know. You gotta watch it. Like, and it didn't stop me from loving him though. So that's the thing. I watched it and I was like, bad day.
Oh, he needs a Snickers.
Still hungry.
This episode of SFL is brought to you by.
So Tilda, SFL.
Of course.
I mean, SFL in life.
Has she ever existed in a non-SFL moment? I doubt it.
But SFL to the max for playing 3 characters. 1, Madame Blanc. 2, Dr. Kemperer.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, Marcos, I believe. That's what I read. I have to take a look at that character. It really didn't look like her.
It didn't.
The doctor looked more like Tilda.
Yeah, the doctor, I was like, okay, Tilda.
But people didn't know it was her. So I read that even in the filming, there were very few cast members that knew that was Tilda. And I'm like, talk about a long game secret. How are they putting this makeup on her without anyone around? Yeah. And I mean, I guess Dr. Kemper wasn't in a lot of scenes with a lot of the actors. It seemed like it was more like a one-on-one or just a couple here, a couple there. But at the end, there's no way during that final scene where all 3 are part of it that they're able to hide that shit.
I just don't know why they would hide. Why? Why do any of it? Why not just say that that's Tilda? Oh, maybe that's her process or something, like as her actor secret. You know, that I'm a woman.
You know what? Maybe it is part of her process. And why was that really happening? Because I guess her and not Dario Argento. I think it was the director she has a relationship with, or maybe it was Dario Argento. But I don't know. They were just like, We're not telling anyone.
She definitely would have had to have a body double, though, for the doctor.
No. I think so. She just had a lot of... Oh, that...
Because he's naked. When he's naked laying down. I mean, she is so tall and, like, so skinny.
Yeah, she's
I mean, I don't know how... I mean, I can see them making her into Marcos because she's sitting down and, like, that you can... Yeah. And that looked like a bunch of prosthetics. But for him... Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, but just...
I mean, I know there's some old man porn star who's out there, and he's just like, this is my moment! Yes, old man, get him.
I was born for this.
Yes! Finally, I'm getting the credits that I deserve. I hope she had a body double.
Just, how are all three of them able to be doing this scene?
She's just moving back and forth really fast. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the sights. It's just her really fast.
This is what I get hung up on. But there's some real weird shit going on here with them keeping this a secret. Maybe they told them near the end. I mean, I think eventually they knew, but it was on that Amazon Prime thing, I think. Or I don't know where I read it. But
they love their, like, behind the movie, like, weird little titles.
It's so good.
And I was like, how come you can't have that when you're watching it on, like, your TV? Just constantly telling me facts about what's happening.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And the other thing I saw was that during a screening of it, like, I don't know where the screening was, but, like, a large group of people had to actually leave the theater because it was so disturbing.
It was Ohio. I read that.
Was it Ohio?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I totally made that up. I was acting right then.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Guys.
Acting or just lying?
Same thing. Yeah. Acting is reacting, and my reaction was to lie. So.
Oh my God.
Logic to you.
Can I tell you guys the idea of the body double kind of cracks me up because there are places for naked bodies like that. You know, you all think like okay.
Where's this? Tricia, I think you went to a brothel. There are no naked body places. What are you talking about?
I'm in a morgue.
Oh, a morgue.
Let me get this thought out in a way that makes sense. Meaning, like
naked body places.
There are places like in the world for, you know, we think like you have to have this like perfect body, this and that. Like, no, you can be an old man and get a part in the movie with your natural naked body in all of its glory.
There's elder porn, I'm sure.
And it reminded me of, I don't know if you guys know, I've ever told you.
Is it about elder porn?
Close. Just kidding. I was a nude model in college.
What? I feel like they did bring this up once, but a long, long, long time ago.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I was a nude model in college, and that is another place for all body shapes, because it was for an art school, so it was life drawing. So it's all sorts of crazy shit. And it is just like, it's not about what you think of as modeling. It's like they want all different shapes and sizes, and they had like a bunch of like really old dudes.
Did anyone like really capture you? Not in a 9 to 5 way. But again, on the podcast, I just want to make clear that like no one is being held captive.
No one's being held captive.
Yeah. Everyone's here of their own free will.
Also, I don't think my mom knows that I was a nude model, so this is a very funny admission if she did.
Should we mask her voice?
If she did end up listening.
We'll put a little filter on. Like we called someone. Yeah.
That's okay.
And we're back with Tammy.
It's true.
Nude model from Michigan.
So they didn't. So what I would do is like I'd get a break, so it was 3 hours long, and I'd get like a 20-minute break, and the students would too, and I just put on this robe, and I just like get a Pepsi.
This is Tricia. This is where she was born.
Maybe have a
everything has their origins. Dun, dun, dun.
Maybe have a little smoke in a robe, and I would go and I would look at the drawings because I was just kind of curious about what they were seeing. And no, they didn't look like me. But I remember one in particular where I'm like, those are not my measurements. like it just gave you really big tits or something. I'm like, that might be the cartoon version of me or what you'd like to see, but that's not what that looks like there.
What?
Yeah.
How rude. I thought you were definitely going to tell us about like a wild European sex adventure. That's exactly what I thought. What you were going to say, and I was like, "What?"
That I went to some bathhouse.
You're at a sex party. What are we going to hear about right now?
Some Eurosex like vampire bloodbath. Like I like actually went to some ritual. Well, you know.
Your bachelor party bachelor party is coming.
It is coming up. Okay, so that is SFL.
SFLs.
That is SFL Suspiria.
Yeah.
I mean, I chose it because I've heard about this movie for a while, and then I spoke to a friend about it, and she said, you know, all of the lead characters are female, and there's really only 2 actual male actors and 3 male characters. Mm-hmm. And that's including Tilda Swinton's character. And so I was like, I gotta see this, because that's just a rarity.
It is. It's a complete rarity. And, I mean, I feel like this is a type of movie that's gonna, like, hit me maybe, like, a week from now. Mm-hmm. Because, like, just too many things I'm just like, what? And I tried to watch it twice, but it is long.
I think you'll get a lot more. I've only seen like 20 minutes watching it again, and already I was picking up on a bunch of shit.
But just like Arrival, like the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, that was cool. I think I get it." And then the second watching, I was like, "I didn't know anything." Mm-hmm. The first time I watched this, the second time is like the viewing. Got it. And the beginning. That's why, like when you asked whether or not she was aware or in on it from the beginning, and I was like, first viewing, I was like, she's just an innocent victim. Why isn't she running? And like she has weird reactions, but yes. But the second time, I was like listening to what she was actually saying / reading it, annoying.
That'll happen when the movie's in another language.
Don't make me read. This is a visual medium.
So what do you? Oh gosh, let's hold on. We got to come up with a good. How many meat hooks would you give this?
Do they have dicks on them, or
okay? How many dicks would you put on the meat hook? No, not too much.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what even makes me feel weird?
I like where your head's at.
Oh. You know, those take me a little while.
I'm gonna give this movie 3.5 dicks on a stick, on a spike, on a hook.
3.5 dicks on a stick.
Wow. 3 at a micro penis.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Because I was like, what's a half a dick?
And now we're dick shaming, but we're okay with that.
No, it's just acknowledging that they exist.
Yeah, no, they do exist. You're right.
Yeah. And they're worthy to be shamed, prodded. Yeah.
No, you're right. Just because it's micro doesn't mean you shouldn't get treated like the rest of them.
Yeah.
I really like this guy, so I'm going to give it 4 3/4.
Ooh, that's just a small
dick on a meat hook stick.
Now I'm picturing like a Euro spit with just like dicks on it, just like rotating. Is that what you're picturing too?
No.
What about now?
Yes, now it's happening.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so good. I thought it was definitely a little like too gory for me in certain areas, and I can just fast forward through those in my second watching. But I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I'm gonna watch the first one and see what that's all about.
Yeah, and you just told me earlier that the first one is like an hour shorter, and I was like, well, that's the version for me.
It is. It's an hour shorter.
That's so much less content.
I know.
Like, that's a huge...
so I'm very curious.
It's like a second movie. It's like
what they do.
A B-side.
Yeah.
This did feel like a little bit like a B movie. Like,
oh, you think so?
Yeah. Just in like the use of gore. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was some splatter gore. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's as gory, the first one. But the first one's supposed to be a lot brighter.
Yeah.
And vibrant. Which
seems strange because of their witches. I mean, I guess I don't picture witches as happy, but why wouldn't they be?
And just a side note, Susie from the original, the actress who played her was actually Anka, the one who played the
woman with the glasses.
The woman who
The
Who
wife.
was stalking?
Doctor's wife.
The doctor's wife, but like played the mirage of the doctor's wife, right? Because it wasn't really her.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like one of them pretending to be her.
But
that actress.
Magic in this movie.
It was unfortunate how they could bring someone in with something they loved or someone they loved. But that was the original Susie.
God, I was like, why are witches always such predators?
I know.
Why can't they, like, what?
No.
It was very To Catch a Predator. Like, why can't you just be witching on your own? Like,
I know.
You know?
And another theme to just think about, and we're not going to have time to explore, but motherhood. Because there's a lot of weird, like, mommy dearest ideas in this, like, maternal instincts, but they're taking care of these girls, but not really, you know.
Yeah.
The mother relationship gone wrong.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of, like, children, like not, I guess, like, fighting their parents' battles. Mm-hmm. Or, like, being raised as, like, a... Yeah. Now I'm kind of thinking, like, oh no, time is...
What?
The concept of time is really bothering me now, guys.
Oh God, you don't need to pull out the plot holes of
guys,
this.
Time. The timeline. The timeline is fractured in my own head, and I think I'm just having a hard time grasping anything. And I was like, but when, in the order of things, would that have existed?
Would what have existed?
I was just confused on whether or not Susie was, like, is Susie, like...
Oh, right. How is she Mother Suspiriorum?
Ever herself? Does she...
No, maybe Mother Suspiriorum is Susie's her vessel.
Yeah, and so she had no soul to begin with, and that's why she's a little cold and strange?
It might be why she reacted the way if she was always taken over.
Yeah, and I was like, what point did Mother Superior make contact? Is that a haunting?
I don't know. We don't find that out. Because we don't actually know in this version when or Susie knew or when Mother Suspiriorum took her over.
Yeah.
But it's safe to say Susie is not an actual Susie. Like, is not actual Susie in this. Like, it kind of, at least when she's in the dance company, it seems like she's something else, right? Like, she's picking up on a lot of the dances very fast. She's becoming very good very quickly. Mm-hmm. But some of that's the witch's power because they want her as part of the ritual. So they need her to be able to do it correctly. So they're giving her some of the strength and moves of the other dancers, too.
You know what? I need to go back and I need to read what she has written in that stupid notebook at the beginning.
Oh,
I feel like there's something in that notebook.
And she drew the symbol that they dance in.
Yeah, that I missed.
She was on to
probably
something
important.
Patricia.
Yeah, because that is what bothered me. And I was like, what is a vessel?
Yeah.
Are you sharing a body? Was there never a Susie? And
yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, all right, that's the podcast, guys.
That's it,
There's more questions than there are answers sometimes. It's just the way the cookie's crumbling.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. And if you haven't seen Suspiria, I would encourage you to do so.
Yeah, I highly encourage you to watch this movie and to just get on my same level in just sheer mystery.
Yeah.
If you need a feelings wheel, hit me up at Evil Twin. I'll also post it to...
Yeah, we should probably put that on Instagram.
You know, just so you know how you're feeling when you're watching it.
Definitely.
It makes a difference.
And you can find us on Instagram at Strong Female Pod.
Yeah, and tweet at us. What are you doing?
Well, it's probably because we don't really take care of that Twitter too much.
You know what? We're improving.
We need more followers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to tweet at everyone who is in this movie just asking what they thought happened.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't really get it, so maybe if they could just take a moment out of their day to explain it to me. Yeah,
absolutely.
That might be the best way
I agree.
To solve that mystery. But you should follow us and get up to date. We're SFL_Chicago on the Twitter.
And that's it.
That's all she wrote.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
to take.